I'm Ed Massey with Massey Yacht Sales, and today we're going to do a walkthrough of a new Catalina 385. Catalina yachts are uniquely American with a focus on performance, safety at sea, and enduring value. They are overbuilt and underpriced, and that's why Catalina yachts are the sailor's choice. Today, let's start at the bow of the boat and look at the very large, very deep road locker. When an anchor locker is deep, the road has a better opportunity to fall into the anchor locker and not get fouled. Also, at the after end of the anchor locker is the Catalina collision bulkhead. It's watertight. At the bottom of the anchor locker is the strike zone. Beneath that strike zone, there's an area filled with high density foam, about the density of mahogany, and you could actually tear a chunk out of the front of the boat below the water line and no water would get into the boat. This is pretty much exclusive with Catalina in terms of production boats. As we move aft, you'll notice that the weather decks, the walkways, are very wide and uncluttered. You don't have to work your way around or under shrouds. As we walk further aft, you'll notice that the spar with this boat is a Selden spar, and on the port side of the Selden spar on the bottom, engraved are the serial numbers for that particular spar. If you ever needed information about that spar or a replacement part, you could call Selden, give them that serial number, and they would pull the folder and they know everything, every attachment, every appurtenance, every piece of hardware that went on that spar, and they can help you. Again, somewhat unique in boats in this popular price range. As we move aft, you'll notice that there are very long Genoa tracks, and the Genoa tracks have cars that face forward and cars that face aft, so there's always a very fair lead for the Genoa sheets coming back to the winches. The winches are all the Lumar Ocean Series winches, and on this boat they're all electric. That's an option, but a very handy option. Also, as we move along the weather deck back to the cockpit, you'll notice that the chain plates that the shrouds are attached to are a square piece of stainless steel instead of just a flat rod going through, or flat piece of stainless going through the deck. These are attached to a piece that's connected beneath the deck to a ball joint and stainless steel tie rods. Because of the way these are engineered, there's really no possibility of a leak around these chain plate attachment points. Similarly, this boat has twin backstays, not a split backstay with bridles, but twin backstays. Coming further aft, you'll notice that all the lines are led aft to the cockpit, and they go through sheet stoppers. And each sheet stopper has a label so that while the captain may know where each one of those lines go, the guests on board may not. And as the guests participate in the sailing, the labeled sheet stoppers will be a great help to them, knowing which sheet stopper works with which line. Coming into the cockpit on this boat, we put a teak grate and the teak cockpit table. These are options, but beautiful options. And the teak cockpit table is really a masterful piece of woodwork. In the down position, you've got plenty of room to move around the cockpit. In the up position, you have a gorgeous alfresco dining area. In the center of the teak cockpit table is a locker, which you can throw items in, or you can put ice in it and it becomes a nice ice locker. Where I'm sitting is raised about 7 to 9 inches above the seats in the forward section of the cockpit. That allows the helmsperson to see above the guests that are on board. And you're going to sail outboard. I'm going to scoot back and you'll see it's very comfortable to sail outboard. And what we've done on this boat is all of the winches are electric, except for the port side winch at the main at the companionway, so that you actually can maneuver this boat, trim the sails using the electric winches, and you can raise and lower the sails as well as other things using the sail handling winch on the starboard side of the companionway. So with the teak cockpit table and the teak cabin, the teak grate in the cockpit, the boat has a very warm feeling, and yet very open, easy to take care of. You'll notice that the stern rail begins at the boarding gate, works all the way around to the boarding gate on the other side of the boat with these very comfortable stern rail seats. And please notice that the top rail of the stern rail seats is drifted back, I'm going to guess about 15 degrees, so that it's about the same degrees as a very comfortable chair at home. And when you're sitting in it, you're not sitting straight up at 90 degrees, but at a proper, comfortable angle. Again, I think Catalina is the only one I've noticed paying attention to this kind of detail. In the walkthrough on the boat, which lets you access the sugar scoop very, very easily, you'll notice that it's a nice open walkthrough. There is a part that falls into place, a fiberglass part, if you want to close this this aft section of the boat, and you kind of join together the two lazarettes. And then in the sugar scoop, and it's a nice wide sugar scoop, so it's very convenient and handy to get on and off the boat with the sugar scoop. There's a lifting panel. Underneath that lifting panel is the swim ladder, and it's a telescoping swim ladder, and it falls into the water about 4 feet deep, which is very easy to maneuver coming in and out of the boat. The boat also has instruments port and starboard. This boat has 4 I-70s. One of the I-70s is, of course, the MFD for the autopilot. The other 3 give you the ability to cursor through all the pages that these contain, and there's a lot of them. On the center line is the new 12-inch Axiom Pro, Raymarine Axiom Pro MFD GPS chart plotter. This boat also is equipped with AIS, autopilot, VHF, depth, knot log, wind point, and wind speed, as well as air conditioning, LED lighting throughout the boat, and of course the now almost famous Massey Lippincott Bimini Dodger combination with lots of stainless steel bows and handholds throughout the cockpit, including the handholds. They're at the after edge of the Dodger. So anywhere your hand wants to go, it's going to grab, as it were, intuitively, a piece of 1-inch stainless steel tubing. A very, very safe cockpit. What we might do now is go to the interior of the boat and take a look at some of the features on the inside of the boat. One other thing I want to mention before we do that is that Catalina uses lead keels. They're the only popularly priced boat on the market using lead keels, which have shock absorbency and lower maintenance than any other kind of keel material. The other thing that Catalina does rather exclusively is they have on all their 5 Series boats a deep defense rudder, and I can't really describe it here because it takes some graphics, but at the end of the walkthrough I'll give you the contact information to allow me to send you all the information on the construction story and other features on this boat. So let's go below and take a look at the interior. As we enter the main salon, one of the first things you'll notice is that there's a warm teak interior, and the teak interior is complemented by the maple battens here on the hull sides. The teak itself is all matchbook teak. The grain goes from one end to the other. These panels are made out of one piece of teak on the CNC router, so the grain matches, and you don't see that so much anymore. It's getting to be something you would expect on a custom yacht, not on a boat that's fairly popularly priced. In the main salon, it's a very open salon with a large L-shaped settee to port, And the settee that I'm on to starboard here can either be separate separate seats, or this table can be lowered, and the filler cushions, which are in the aft stateroom, can be put in place, and you'll have a bench settee. There's very good headroom in the boat, about 6'7", I believe, so most everybody's comfortable down below. The galley is, of course, at the after end of the main salon, and it's basically a U-shaped sea galley. Sea galleys are the safest type of galleys when underway. It has a large front opening refrigerator and a large countertop access freezer. Of course, like all Catalinas, it has the dual polished stainless steel sinks. It has a Moen faucet. The faucet lifts out so you can move around with the faucet itself. Has a very large dry stowage bin, a 2-burner forced tin stove and oven, and it has a little top that goes to the stove and oven, so you have more countertop space for prep. As you move across the salon, you will see the nav station, and it's a proper nav station, a large chart table top. And of course, all the electronics are there. The distribution panel is there. Behind the distribution panel, you'll find the zinc savers, which are standard on all the Catalinas. This Catalina has the Raymarine VHF. It also has the Fusion radio. The interior also on this boat has air conditioning, and most of the boats, obviously in the southern part of the world, have the air conditioning, and this boat has a 16,000 BTU air conditioning with reverse cycle heat. The cockpit cushion, or the salon cushions are the Brissa Cream, which is the ultra leather. Very, very nice, very durable, easy to clean. You'll notice behind me there's a tie rod, and this tie rod goes to the deck fitting for the chain plates that I mentioned when I was sitting in the cockpit. And this tie rod is a ball joint, and this is pretty much exclusive to Catalina. I've never seen this on another boat, so that the chain plate and this tie rod always stay in perfect alignment. And of course, they're anchored behind me with a long long aluminum heavy-duty angle iron that's glassed into the boat. As we move forward, we'll notice that going into the owner's stateroom, we have a large hanging locker right here before we go into the owner's stateroom. The owner's stateroom has a innerspring mattress, and at the forward end of the mattress there's a lifting panel so that if you would like to read in bed, you can do that, and there's reading lights, LED reading lights throughout the interior, as all the Catalinas now, and those lights are perfect for reading a book. There's also a small vanity, and the shower is a dedicated shower in the head. The head is electric. The holding tank is above the water line, so you don't need a macerator to discharge the holding tank at sea. You simply open a ball valve. There's also a medicine chest built into the forward head with a mirror. Then there's lots of drawers, lockers, bins throughout the boat. A lot of storage on the boat, more than is readily noticeable, but it's all there. This boat also came with AGM house batteries, 2 4Ds, as well as a Group 27 AGM dedicated engine start battery. As we move aft, we come into the aft stateroom of the boat, which is with a very large innerspring mattress, a hanging locker, a couple of bins, and you'll notice that there are deadlights. These are the deadlights here. They don't open, so they're called deadlights, that allow visibility from the main salon while in the sitting position. As we leave the aft stateroom, we'll notice that the engine box is located underneath the companionway steps. It's easily accessible. You can get to all parts of the engine. And behind the engine box, inside the aft stateroom, is also the filters locker for this boat. You just lift up a panel, turn on the light, and you can get to the engine raw water strainer. You can look at the coolant reservoir, and of course turn the seacock on and off for the raw water engine pickup. That completes our tour of the inside of the boat and completes our tour of the Catalina 385. There's a lot more information available, and if you would like that information emailed to you, I'll be happy to do that. All you need to do is call me, Ed Massey, at 941-725-2350, or email me at edwardm@masseyyacht.com, and I will send you the information immediately. I hope to hear from you soon, but until then, remember this: Catalinas are uniquely American, with a strong focus on performance, safety at sea, and enduring value. They are overbuilt and underpriced, and that's why Catalina yachts are the sailor's choice.